Hey there, I'm David, and if you're traveling to Korea, then you've probably already heard of Everland and Lotte World, unless you haven't, like me, who just went there kind of on a whim. But anyway, this summer I studied abroad in Korea at Seoul National University. As you can see, I'm wearing their little letterman right here. It's very nice. I'm very happy with it. But anyway, let's get into it. So, as a general overview, Everland is going to be your typical outdoor amusement park scenario. Now, what I was not expecting was that Everland was going to have an entire zoo area. You might have seen this zoo online because their family of pandas went really viral. While I was there, they were setting up an entire Bao birthday bash, and so that was really cute. But other animals I really like seeing were red pandas and, of course, capybaras. That was actually my first time seeing one. Also, I didn't get a lot of footage of this, but there were a lot of rides, of course. It is going to be like a typical amusement experience. One of the things about Everland that I also was not expecting, the kiddie ride zone actually had this one ride that was like, like that spinning thing. It was actually probably the most insane ride I've ever been on. I actually saw my shoulder and there were like scratches on it, probably from being spun so hard upside down, but awesome experience, I would say. Moving on to Lotte World, I would say that the prized possession of Lotte World would have to be their parades. They had two parades every day that I was there. One of them was the event parade, which was like the Rio Brazil festival kind of vibe. And that was honestly a pretty good parade. Like I was feeling the hype. We'll get to the other one later as it's sort of a more closing ceremony kind of feel. Lotte World is also all indoor. There is kind of a separate section that is outside, but for the most part, you're going to be indoors. And so I really thought that was interesting because it's literally connected to the subway as well. When I got there, I realized that it was actually massive because there were essentially 3 floors and it was almost like a maze, but it was really fun to get lost in it and just kind of bump into all the really awesome rides that they had there. They even had a lot of experiences like the PUBG Battleground experience, which was essentially teaming up with some random strangers and then shooting on the PUBG Battleground. There's also an arcade, although you do have to pay extra money to do all of these sort of activities in there. One nice thing also about Lotte World is that it's actually right next to Lotte Tower, which is a really famous shopping center and actually I believe the tallest tower in Seoul. Shamelessly, I will admit that I did rent a uniform here. I could not resist because it is, I feel like, the Korea experience. And you also will see a ton of other people wearing rented uniforms, so do not be embarrassed because you'll probably never see anyone from there again. Last but not least, Lotte World is always going to end every single day with a parade, and that is the World of Light Parade. And basically, it's lighting up the entire stadium, I guess we'll call it, with a bunch of light, and then having the dancers go around and essentially represent a bunch of different cultures and experiences.
입구에서 안 들어가면 무서워.
Now, another cool thing about Lotte World is that you're actually going to have an entire ice skating rink at the bottom of the amusement park. The thing is, you do have to pay extra money to get in there, so it's kind of like a separate attraction, but it's also very cool. Finally, to compare them, in my opinion, I definitely enjoyed my experience at Lotte World more, in part because I was going there alone, so I really had free reign to just wander around everywhere. Now, I will also say, if you want to go to either of these places, I honestly recommend going alone because a ton of these rides have single rider lanes that are completely empty. Like I'm talking about, I think one of them was like this Pharaoh's Curse kind of ride at Lotte World. And since I was alone, I skipped an over 1 hour wait and literally got in the ride in like 5 minutes. Like it was actually insane. And I did that for every single ride. But to give a more objective review of the experiences, I would say that Everland has some more intense rides as well as a more relaxed experience as well. In Lotte World, you literally are enclosed in like this area of like wonder and magic, I guess you can say, because I mean you have all these different rides that are themed and relating to different fantasy concepts, and I think that's really cool, and it really felt like I was kind of like in another world for a day. Also, I'd say that Lotte World can be a bit more enjoyable if you hate walking because it felt like everything was so close together. Additionally, I really recommend Lotte World if you love shopping because again, you're going to have those really close by attractions like Lotte Tower and the ice skating rink to go to as well if you get somehow bored of Lotte World. As for the food, I honestly think both places are pretty similar, but they're both really good. I personally really loved the curry that they had at Everland, but I will say that the milk ice cream, there's literally a store called Milk. It's not exclusive to Lotte World, but they do have it. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Like it was actually insane, like milk flavored ice cream. Oh my gosh. But also, Lotte World does have a ton of pop-up stores nearby, again, because it's by Lotte Tower and also because it's right under the subway. And so there's actually a lot of underground subway shopping stations that you can go to with a lot of pop-up stores. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the video.